We need to not be scared of talking about death. Death is an inevitability. And when it happens, it's exclusive and definite. You can't change it. This is something that you need to invest in your family and in yourself to know that your life is only as valuable as you make it.
You're listening to Legacy Through Literacy, where we dissect the philosophy of money one mindset at a time. From uncovering why we settle for our current financial standing to facing the fears that keep us from taking that first crucial step, we tackle the beliefs that are holding you back. Guided by insights from legendary thinkers and today's financial trailblazers, we don't just talk about change, we empower you to own it. This isn't just talk, this is Legacy Through Literacy.
Why, hello there, and we made it to episode 12, the season finale of Legacy Through Literacy. My name's Eddie, I'm your host. I am a licensed insurance broker in Colorado and in Texas, and this is a compliment. This podcast is a compliment to the business that I have started. I've been doing this since November, so this will be a year. Things have been rolling great. Things are moving fast. And this was a podcast about the mindset of starting a business. This was about the podcast of a mindset of chasing your dreams and setting up some goals and setting up some functions for you and building your network. A lot of it was about talking about building a network. Kind of the recap of this season is about you being the most authentic version of yourself out there and capitalizing on your efforts and making them the most efficient, I guess, is probably the best way of what you can become. Understanding what you want and battling through, what do they call that? Imposter syndrome. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, ups and downs the whole way through. If you're interested in starting a business in the financial service sector, please feel free to DM me. You can find our social media pages at Logos Financial Literacy, LLC. That's on Instagram, Facebook, and that's pretty much it, honestly. I work with the brokerage that I work for. They're pretty open for the most part. So you can find all the information if that's something you're interested in. If you are looking for somebody to do your podcasting, editing, all that fun stuff, check out Podmentor Space and Rajiv and his crew. They are phenomenal. Without them, I would not have been able to do what I did here. I have built up a network of like-minded business people to do anything from podcasts to business presentations to meetings. And this is all stuff that, honestly, for the most part, I kind of thought about doing and didn't pull the trigger on it until it made sense. And now it makes sense. And this podcast was just one of those pieces that was just seemed to make sense in this puzzle. I think a lot of people our nation, at least in the U.S., and this is probably all around. So if you relate, definitely, come at me. Let me know what it is that you think you can relate to and how you are addressing those things. Maybe we could have on the next season, we'll have you on for an interview or something. I do want to do more interviews. I will have more interviews on the next season. This season was a lot of chasing my tail. So it was hard. It was between I have two full-time jobs basically, and this is like an addition to that second full-time job. So or part of that second full-time job, at least that's how I look at it. But building a network, trying to automate as much and delegate as much as you can as you're going. Obviously, resources are an issue, but nothing is going to beat the amount of time that you need. So if you can't find people to help you or find people to work with you, it's going to make it twice as hard. Like social media stuff, Rajiv is great with that too, with Podmentor. The social media is one of those things that's just very influential in today's reality and in our scope of influence and how we affect people and what people want to know about us. I've got another podcast that I do that's more focused around politics and philosophy. I guess current events, I guess. This one is more mindset and business. So the financial aspect of this has a lot to do with helping families. It has a lot to do with helping the middle class and the working class. I'm a working class person. I've done this all my life. My parents were working class people. They've done that all their life. I know too many people that have worked too hard and too long to not be able to leave their family in a better position than when they started. And I feel like it's not addressed in our public discourse or in our education. I don't think a lot of people know about this kind of stuff. I had one guy tell me that his dad beat it into him that a 401k is important. I honestly don't think I ever had anybody tell me anything about 401k, but it is one of those things where it's like, well, it is important in the way that if you think about how you're going to support yourself, not only in retirement, but your family, if in the event something happens to you. And when death strikes your family, especially unexpectedly, that is probably one of the biggest things that I've had to hear from stories with some of the people that I work with, is that it wasn't that the person died. We all expect people to die. We don't know when, and often, sometimes if you're lucky, it's somebody that aged out, well into their shoot anymore. I talked to somebody healthy. She has a healthy mom at 108. So where we're going with humanity, who knows? But I lost a family member in a car accident, and he was under 40. If kids, wife, house, and to see that, not I know he wasn't protected just because of some other stuff, because something about insurance, if you don't, unfortunately, it's one of those things that you will need it and you don't have it, and when you need it, you'll probably never be able to get it. So it's one of those things that you need to be able to focus on, even if it's just something as small as a term policy, to where you just have it in place just in case, right? There was I think it was Chris Rock, right? He said, or maybe it was Chris Tucker. No, it might be Chris Rock. He says insurance shouldn't be called insurance, it should be called in case shit happens, you need to be covered, because you are not. I'm sure some of us are, right? If you've got a lot of generational wealth in your family, or you've created something greater than this is kind of an early thing, so you probably know all this stuff if you're one of those people. But this is important for people that I believe that are in the working class, that think that the only way to gain any footing in society or gain any footing in the future for their children is to be continuously in the working class. And there's nothing wrong with being in the working class. There's nothing wrong with going to work every single day. There's just other avenues that you should explore. And as our politics and as time increases, it just makes more sense to know the rules of the game so that you can play better, because you can't win the game if you don't know the rules. So you need to be able to at least learn the rules rather than being an NPC if you're a video game person. NPCs are non-player characters, somebody that's just there, that just exists in the system. They don't do much, but you can see them and they have a function, but they're not really overall very important to the game itself. And if that relates to how you feel about your life, hey man, let's go talk about it. Let's create a better future. Let's create, I posted something the other day that said, every day you're given the chance to be able to create the world that you want to live in. So let's do that. There's no reason, if you've got vices you need to challenge, then you're going to have to fight those vices. When you know that you're ready to create something, it's going to hit you and you're going to know you're ready to create it. This is emotions aside. This is excitement aside. This is actual, I want to create a better future for my family and myself and those around me. I say that a lot during this podcast. Rising tide lifts all ships. We say that in our group a lot. No family left behind. We focus on what we can do to try to make things better for the family unit and for the future generations to come. So many stories, man. So many stories where I've heard people get into this business. And there was one guy the other day. They had brought a business partner on, and it was a friend of hers from high school. So he came on. He wasn't super interested in the business, just kind of floating by a little bit. I think he had just gotten his license, so he was locked in with the brokerage, got everything all set, ready to go. So he was able to make commissions, and then he got a policy for himself since he was in the industry. Bought himself a policy, and then got in a car accident and passed away. And he wasn't super stoked about the business, but the life policy that he got was able to not only pay for his funeral stuff, but it took care of his fiance and his kid for the next few years, or will for the next few years, because it's fairly recent. But it's like, these things are, I hate to say taboo. I don't think they're taboo. This should be thoughts that we all have, especially if you're fearful of everything. You should have, if you're scared of the world, you should have the most insurance than anybody. But no, I think that we need to not be scared of talking about death. Death is an inevitability. It's something that's going to happen. And when it happens, it's exclusive and definite. You can't change it. Not yet. Maybe that's a future topic for the other podcast. But, this is something that you need to invest in your family and in yourself, to know that your life is only as valuable as you make it. Your life, your existence is only as important as you apply to other people. So the whole idea is, a lot of this is legacy building, right? Understanding what you're building for other people. And even if I don't even need to sell you a policy. All I want to do is open your mind and help you understand that there is a bigger life and a better avenue for the way that you are doing things right now. Because I guarantee you, most of the people out there that are just working day to day, they only focus on the day to day because that's what they know. And there might be some psychological aspects to it. Who knows? Maybe they're scared to live. Maybe they don't want to know about the rules. They like the ignorance is bliss for a reason, right? But if you've got a family, if you're looking at your kids and stuff, there is more that you can apply to help your children in future generations. If they're educated, if you're educated, and then you educate them and they can educate their kids, and it's not, at some point, obviously somebody's going to be too lazy to keep going, but you can educate your family, at least in your aspects. You could be that person that inspired that other person. And that's all that matters, because it's all about casting stones in the lake. So you might just cast a pebble in the lake, and the ripples might go only so far, but you never know how many of those ripples you're going to affect other people. How much of those ripples are going to change the lives of the other people in your circle and outside your circle even. One of the things about this podcast is that I'm trying to generate some kind of a mental enlightenment, mental break, I guess, to open the floodgates a little bit and allow your mind to open freely and explain that there's another world out there. Saw Kevin Hart state something like that. He was talking about poor people getting scammed, and he's like, is it wrong? Is it a lie if everything is a scam? And he's like, if there's nobody to tell you that come over here, people move different over here, and that's what it is. I was never, and I wouldn't say never, there's been a couple times, and almost every time it was a scam. But there is an avenue of kindred spirits that will welcome you into enlightenment, or to put it as an easy way. I mean, that's kind of a blanket term, but at least enlightenment in the way of like the financial services area, and the way that you and your family and your girlfriend's family and your in-laws and their cousins and everybody, this can stretch out and become a better thing for you in your life. Well, this is the final episode of this season. The next season will probably be a little bit different in a format setting, but I appreciate you guys listening. I really do. And I'm looking forward to sharing future stories and content with you, and looking forward to seeing a new and better world, seeing a new and better future for everybody. As things go down the road and everything feels more chaotic, let's begin to mitigate what we can control versus what we can't control. Thanks again. Thanks for listening. Peace. Have a good one.